Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel, and today is Tuesday, so it's an anime character spotlight. So I thought, why not go right into Naruto? So the character we're going to be doing today is Choji. Now, for those of you who don't know who Choji is the lovable, chubby ninja. Um, he was always somebody who was kind, wanting to help out as best he can, had no confidence in himself, and just was terrified of pretty much everything. But when it came down to being picked on for being fat, or when his friends were in true danger, he was one of the best ninja around. So let's talk about his history. So in the very beginning, during the tuning exams, he passes the first part of the test because of his one of his other teammates, who was able to use her mind body switch technique. So she was actually able to help to get all the answers that was needed um, for them to pass the first part of the test. Now, in the second phase of the exam, they had to go into basically the killer forest. During this time, he actually helps out um, Team 7 to defeat the Sound Ninja. He takes out the guy who shoots sound waves out of his hands because he's got these like little holes in his hands that he shoots out. Anyway, in the third part of the third, actually, sorry, the preliminaries of the final exam, I forget, they had to do one-on-one fighting, and Choji had to face against Dosu. Now, Choji thought that when he used his expansion jutsu, he was going to actually be able to not hear his attacks. But the problem is his body's composed of mostly water, and because of that was easily defeated by his opponent. Now, um, moving on to the Sasuke recovery mission. He was one of the 5 members of the team to send out to rescue Sasuke. Now they had to, Choji took on the Sound 4 member Jirobe. Jirobe was strong. Now what he had to do to beat him was use the 3 colored pills. Now these 3 pills increased his chakra immensely. So green was mint, orange was orange, oh no, yellow was lemon, and red was, sorry, hot chili pepper. Now each time they increased his chakra levels immensely, each one causing immense, I don't want to say pain, but risk. Red was supposedly enough to kill him. What it did was it absorbed all his fat and turned it into chakra, where he used like this butterfly type chakra to basically beat the living heck out of Jirobo. During that, he really had to go into intensive care, mostly due to the fact that um, he really needed to heal. It caused severe damage to his body. Now, the next step was that was the last of the first part. So then we move on to the um, part two, aka the time skip. Um, he is much older. He's now a Chunin member, a Joni. Sorry, he's a Joni. He's able to do several types of jutsus now. He teams up with his group to go against the Akatsuki. He goes to the Akatsuki suppression mission, where this is where Kakashi was their temporary leader, and this is actually after Osami is already dead. So this is where they have to defeat the Akatsuki that has the 4 hearts, and Choji goes full on and actually removes 2 of them himself. It was not easy, each one being their own type of chakra element, and he was able to defeat 2 of them by himself, which is not an easy thing. Then during the pain assault, Choji thought he could actually handle himself in this, and he gets his butt handed to him. In fact, if it wasn't for Kakashi, he would have died, which is a huge thing. But it was because of Choji that people knew that pain was there, and they were able to actually team up to fight. Um, During the Fourth Shinobi World War, um, Choji really went full out. I mean, he goes massive size in his butterfly Choji mode and starts beating people up until he has to um, basically deal with the totem that absorbs all the tailed beasts, and that's where it's called the demonic statue, and that's where Choji gets his butt kicked. Now they have to really start facing off against the people they basically already fought. So Choji takes out Jirobe with ease again because Jirobe is now um, despite sorry, he has to face Jirobe again even though Jirobe's dead. Um, there's an ability that allows them to manipulate the dead, and it's being done. Now Choji also has to team up with his group to face um, Asuma, who happens to be their old sensei. And that was one of the toughest battles they had to fight because it was the three of them together having to defeat him. Now, this is where it gets really difficult because um, Choji teams up with the group and he actually gets engulfed with Kuroma's, who is the Nine Tails chakra cloak, which causes his body to um, into calories, leading him to rapidly begin to regain weight. Um, and because of that, he is able to help defeat the Ten Tails, which is not an easy thing. In fact, that battle nearly kills almost all of the entire group, which is not a fun thing. Now, let's talk about his abilities. We talked obviously about his storyline for the most part. He is definitely not what we would call a fighter. He really doesn't want to fight, period. He wants to really just enjoy life and eat as much as he can, but he will deal with it if he needs to. Now, his abilities are, excuse me, he actually is what's called um, an Akimichi clan technique. Now, their abilities are much different than most of the other clans. They have the expansion jutsu, which um, this is where Choji's family actually converts the calories they consume into chakra. Hence why they're normally a husky physique and frequent eating habits. He uses the chakra he stores to perform the body expansion, multi-size technique, which allowing him to use the human bullet tank to run down his opponents. He can increase the damage by wrapping spikes around his body. And Choji can expand other parts of his body which gives his the partial expansion jutsu. Now, they also have the three colored pills. When eaten, converts his own body fat into chakra, increasing his physical attributes and facilitating the use of his clan's more advanced techniques. After consuming the red pill, the large amount of chakra that manifests into two butterfly wings on Choji's back, making his power a hundredfold. Now, taking the pill damages his body, with the red pill not only immense destroying his body, but also eventually causing him death. Therefore, the pills are considered to be a last resort use. However, Choji survived thanks to the medical books and Tsunade's medical experience. He overcomes these issues by part two, using his own chakra to perform these clan techniques without consuming the pills. But during the Fourth Shinobi War, he becomes able to form the butterfly wings on his own, bypassing the pill's dangerous side effects. He has he has fire and earth release, though he most exclusively uses the yang release for his body's expansion jutsu, with earth release where he can erect a rock wall to protect against physical attacks. He definitely has a physical prowess, meaning he is significantly stronger than most. He's able to go toe to toe with some of the strongest anime characters of all. Now, they rank, I don't know what it's out of. I'm assuming it must be out of like 7. I'm not positive for sure. But there's a data book that goes in Naruto, and it's ninjutsu, taijutsu, genjutsu, intelligence, strength, speed, stamina, seals. So in the first part where he's a young guy, his ninjutsu is 3, his taijutsu is 2, which is kind of funny to me, mostly due to the fact that his family is basically all taijutsu. Genjutsu is point 0.5, his intelligence is point 0.5, his strength is 3, his speed is 1, and his stamina is 2, and his hand seals are 1.5. Now when we get to Shibutin, which is the second part, which is the time skip, he moves up in the jutsu to 3.5. Taijutsu stays at 2. His genjutsu stays at 0.5. His intelligence goes up to a 1. His strength gets increased to 3.5. His speed stays the same at 1. His stamina goes up to 2.5. And his hand seals stay the same at 1.5. Now, in the third, in Boruto, his ninjutsu stays the same at 3.5. His taijutsu goes up to a 3. His genjutsu goes up to a 1. His intelligence goes up to a 2, which is not all that surprising since he gets older. His strength increases to a 4.5. His speed goes up to a 2. And his stamina goes up to a 3.5. And his hand seals go down to a 1, which I'm not quite sure what that's about. But overall, he gets better with each um, time skip, I guess you would say. But overall, Choji is an excellent character. I always enjoyed him, and I saw myself in him more than any other character in Naruto, and I loved it all over, pretty much. So let me know in the comments what you think. Is there an anime character you'd like me to do? Please let me know in the comments below. As always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a good night.